Welcome back. Thank you for staying in this far, regardless of waking up early. Like I said, join us on all our social media platforms at KUTV Kenya on Twitter, at KUTV Kenya on Facebook, and at KUTV Kenya on Instagram. And my personal handles, you can talk to me, Wangare Gikunda on Facebook, Wangare Gikunda on Instagram, and Wangare Gikunda on Twitter. Earlier on, I told you that today we have a special edition of WCW, where I'll be hosting the hosts of Rise Today at KUTV. Can you imagine? Imagine I'm hosting hosts. This is nice. So I have Richard Okenye on set with me here to discuss the newspaper review. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Nina.
How do you feel? How are you feeling this morning?
Sorry. It's a privilege and it's an honor to be here with you. I've never been here before. I've never been hosted. Never been hosted by another host, so it's actually really exciting to have him to sit here on this side without a talk back. So I don't know what's happening.
You're feeling awkward?
Yeah, I don't know what you're being told, but yeah, I'm glad to be here.
I promise you're not gossiping.
Right?
Promise.
Hopefully. Hopefully so.
Hopefully.
But you're looking good.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me this morning. I'm excited.
Yes,
I'm actually
excited
very
too.
excited.
Let's do it.
So, the newspaper.
Right.
Tuangalie what it has for us today. What's your favorite story for today?
Actually, two stories. There's one particularly on elderly people. It's in the Daily Nation. Let me grab that real quick.
So we have Daily Nation and the Standard. If you have one nearby, you can grab yours as well. So, we can compare notes.
All right, so on page 6 of the Daily Nation, there's this story on, it's called a geriatric bill. So apparently they want to bring they're addressing the welfare of elderly, that's what they're calling it. But they're
the
not
welfare
proposing,
of the elderly.
yeah, so
Okay.
they're saying what was there, they should be taken care of. So they're proposing the rehiring of people who had already retired from civil service.
Rehiring pensioners.
Yeah, so you remember that period where Uhuru Kenyatta, the president of the country, has been appointing old people back to service.
And we all complained, so they've now decided to legalize it.
Yeah, right. So this is definitely going to bring another set of complaints. So especially for young Kenyans who are now on the streets, hungry, unemployed.
And when we were growing up, we were told that we are the leaders of the future.
Yeah.
They played us.
And now we're in the future.
We're in the future and we are not the leaders. We have to be 70. Now again, we are the leaders of the future. Now we are the leaders of the future.
Right. So there's another future we have to wait for.
Yes.
Tomorrow never comes, apparently, in this country. So you have to wait for that.
Sad
so
story.
that is what is happening, the returning of the retirees. So that's an interesting story that I saw there. And also what I think I consider the plight of being poor in this country, especially when it comes to matters of justice and issues that are parallel with how politicians behave. And this is a story on Babu Wino.
Yes.
On page 8 of the Daily Nation. I'm pretty sure it's also in the Standard. So those are the two stories that caught my interest, especially how Member of Parliament Babu Wino can, get to walk away free by just buying a house to the victim. It's what the Daily Nation is reporting here.
Can we allegedly say that he bought the loyalty? He was not buying the house, but he bought the loyalty through the house.
Well, I feel like, yeah, partly so, but also as well, it's the fact that, in a position of someone like DJ Evolve, who has been in hospital for quite some time,
He's
and nothing has happened,
vulnerable at this moment.
And nothing has happened to Babu. If I was in his place as a victim, I would feel like probably this fight will never end. I may never get justice.
He even lost his mom in the process.
Also, as well, you have no monies, to fight someone this big. I'm not speaking on behalf of the family, but I don't think it's, I don't know, out of court cases, settlement of such a big case involving a politician who's probably going to run again in the next year's general elections. I don't think that reflects well on the justice system in the country.
There's a quote on the street that I once had, and it said, you're guilty until proven rich.
Ooh, whoa.
Yes. Word on the street, you're guilty until proven rich.
So once you're rich,
you're no longer guilty. You're innocent.
Well, seems to be true. Yeah, seems to be true. We have very many cases of that, even in Nyanza, where we have seen a governor who's still in power. And
and he was to even run. He even had the guts to run for presidency at some point.
Even gives tour to the top political office holders in the country when they visit his county. So I don't know.
Can we say we are doing badly? Okay, partly since we have a new, not necessarily new, a whole new team in the judicial. We can say we hope to have brighter days in the future.
But we can't continue.
The likes
hoping.
of Mother Kome will make a difference.
I think we're way past hoping. If we have the head of the DCI also getting arrested or orders being given to arrest him, there's also that Chief Justice or that Justice of the Supreme Court, Chitembe, who's now also under investigations of allegations of malpractice in the past. So I don't think we're doing good. I think this problem of hope is very dangerous. Like, I think hope is very dangerous, especially for Kenyans.
But that's all we have.
I think it makes us very complacent. Yeah, continuously hoping that politicians will do better, that justice will be served, that someone else will go to the streets for us. That I don't know. I don't think it works. That's my opinion. Those are my top two ones.
Yes. Because what can we do now? We can only hope. We don't have the power to go out there and fight. The moment you step into that street and riot.
But I think at this point, especially since we're going for an election period next year, I think it's also another chance for us to
make wise decisions.
To make a difference, yeah. Yes. It's cliche. We've said this over and over again that you have that power to change things through a vote. But I think it's really clear now. If you're a youth out there and you're seeing like elderly people and politicians are getting everything, being rehired back to service.
It's sad. It's annoying.
Yeah, right. So
and it's more annoying when you think about the fact that you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, right. We just have to accept a lot of things.
There are you riots. There are you riots.
Yeah. So there's also this the government's giving directives, or the CS for Health giving directives here on the Standard, and also I think on the Daily Nation.
Of the jab before 21st December.
Yeah, have you gotten a jab, Nina?
Yes, have you gotten? Me, I've gotten both. I'm a fully vaccinated Kenyan.
Gosh. And that makes you feel a bit privileged.
Not privileged. It's not privileged. It was free.
Yeah, true. Everyone should get it.
Have you gotten it?
Yeah, I have.
Both. Why you're sounding unsure? You sound so unsure.
Why are you putting? I'm a journalist. I have to make sure that I also lead.
You've taken both.
Others people follow. There's also a chance to get one, just one. You don't have to get both. There's Pfizer that is just one.
I want to grill you, but not today. Not today.
Yeah. So Kenyans are going to be. Do you feel now that you are proudly fully vaccinated and if you're using the expressway, that makes you top tier Kenyan?
Yeah. Yes, because we are vaccinated. I mean. So
do you feel like Kenyans should have been stopped from getting services by the 21st of December?
Well, technically, it's a personal decision. It's a personal decision. We shouldn't be forced to get it. But knowing Kenyans, sometimes in a bidibana. Knowing Kenyans, it would have made a difference.
Yeah, probably also because regulations will have come back heavy on us with the new variant. So probably now that the High Court, because they're saying here that there's a petition was argued, that the directive was unlawful and the public has to be, get unconditional access to government services.
Because, if you look at, I'm a mother, when you have your baby, the first vaccinations are not really a must, but are a must. You get?
Right.
They are not really a must. You've not been forced.
But I feel...
But you have to. Yeah. So technically, as an adult, you shouldn't be forced, but you should know that you should do it. Not with a gun to your head, but it's common sense. You should go get it by yourself.
Right. All adults should have common sense.
Common sense is not so common, obviously, but it's, you shouldn't be forced to get it, but you should know you should get it.
Right, because I never see people being forced to get TB vaccinations, but I think everyone does have one.
Yes.
But also on the other hand, I don't see anyone who's ever been stopped from getting government services because they don't have a TB vaccination. So it's quite a thin balance there, but government services should always be free and for access to everyone.
But you see, TB is not a pandemic. COVID is a pandemic.
It was.
But then it no longer is.
You see now, the this is how I see the government, right? It's like I have employed to do tasks that I can do when I'm doing other stuff. So I pay tax and pay them. It's like someone I've employed to work. So imagine if you employed someone in your house and they told you if you're not vaccinated you can't get into this house, and you're the one paying the
imagine
the
I
bills.
would understand. You know why?
But then
I don't know where you are. Uko nje, ulikuwa ma shenanigans, mashughuli uko nje. You've rubbed shoulders with people who have the variant. Kwanza Omicron. Alafu ukuje kwa nyumba utuletee. Sisi tumeshinda kwa nyumba. Ukuje tuambukize. Mimi naweza kukataza kuingia.
But you see now, it is funny that the government will require, will decide to cut government services, access to government services, whilst not boosting their own efforts in vaccinating.
I would try to.
The masses.
They're trying. Last week they brought 4 million doses, right? I would try to imagine. They got donations for 4 million vaccines. Yeah. I'm trying to look at it from this angle. Imagine going to Huduma Center in a situation where there's no masks. And it's full. People are queuing, people are getting IDs, people are getting documents. You've not been vaccinated, I've been vaccinated. Then you come sit next to me. And then someone next to you has also not been vaccinated. Kwani hatutaambukizana?
Why don't they first stop politicians from bringing large crowds to their political rallies before cutting government access to citizens?
You do have a point.
Right.
You do have a point. But where our leaders wamefika, they are unstoppable.
I feel like, you see, it's reacting in a way that doesn't match the problem. Like, if you're not getting vaccinated, then you're not getting government services. Like telling a kid, if you don't do your homework,
you
won't
have dinner.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
Those are very two different things. You just have to attack the problem from where it's at. If it's the spread they're afraid of, then they fix that, not other issues. Then you're an I guess.
I still insist, go and get vaccinated.
Yeah. People should get vaccinated. Everyone.
Yes, I still insist.
Right, so the government has, the judge has stopped the state from that order. So 21st of December, kwenda mbele, people can still get access as of now. But the ministry is also still backing their efforts despite of that court ruling.
Let's see how things will pan out.
Yeah.
Let's see. But part of me wants them to win, part of me does not. So some ministry where to stand. I'm sitting on the fence. Let me just sit on the fence on this one.
Nina, I'm interested to know which girls' high school did you go to?
Why?
Just asking because of the next story that is coming up here.
Once I hear the story, I'll tell you where I went to school.
Utaki kaka shule yako on the spot.
Wacha kwanza nisikie, alafu sasa tunaweza choma.
Right, so I think it was on the Daily Nation, if I'm not wrong. So apparently students want to run high schools, or they are currently. Some high schools are being run by students.
Oh, like a student is a principal?
No, there's a principal, but they can't do anything. The students are the ones making the rules.
Guy, kwani me I was in school which year?
That's why I wanted to know if your school had the guts to...
During my day, we used to get roughed up very badly by our principal.
Yeah,
They are you try to overthrow the government.
You sound like someone who supports that reintroduction.
I don't really. I'm a firm believer of let's talk about things first. If your ears become dysfunctional, now we can fight.
What do you mean dysfunctional?
Ushaongeleshwa mpaka mtu anaona wewe usikiangi. Akujeongeleshwa na mzazi anakuambia usikiangi.
Sasa hivyo ndio wanaona students hawasikii. They are calling them rogue students now who are dictating. On page 7 of the Daily Nation. They have this investigation that was done by a reporter of several reporters from the Daily Nation, and they're saying that learners have been giving ultimatums to principals on how they should run schools, the school timetable. Apparently, there's also a school in Nyeri County where students have demanded to go home. And they were allowed to just walk out. There's also another school here where it's Milo Boys Secondary School. I think give the boys Milo.
Give them some, and it's in Bungoma. Ironically, give these boys some tiba.
Lazima kila kitu iko about food. You know, Milo. Anyway, learners were forced the administration to administer end of term exams on Saturday ahead of schedule. So they requested exams to come out so that they could close school early.
okay, I don't know how to feel about this whole situation, because when COVID started, kids stayed home for a very, very long period of time. So the system currently is trying so hard to recover the time they lost during that period, yeah? So I'm trying to understand both sides of the story. That they don't care whether you will go to class at 4 a.m. and go to sleep at 1 a.m. It doesn't matter. For them, they want to recover the time they lost when COVID struck. Now, on the other hand, our babies are being overworked.
True.
So on one part, I feel like I would understand them more, because it's not their fault that COVID struck. See, watoto walituletea COVID.
Right. Usiwekele vitu.
Right. If it's them to figure out how they would. These are human beings. It's upon them to figure out how they would figure out a schedule or a syllabus that would favor the children.
I think there's no rush. There's no rush with education.
There's no rush. Where are we running to? Right. And it doesn't mean that the children should run the school, but I feel like they've reached, but wamefika mwisho. Like they are literally at the edge.
You know, you have felt where in life sometimes you push to the corner. You have to react in any way, whatever you can use to get out of that situation.
No, we are not supporting banning of schools. We are not.
Right, not that I'm encouraging, but you see, some of these issues are very systemic. There are things that have been in this.
It's taken time.
Yeah, it's taken time. Something that has built up over time, and banning of school hasn't started just recently.
Yes.
People have actually gone to schools where schools have never been banned ever since the inceptions of those schools.
Also, the school I went to has never been banned.
Right, and there are no tough men. You know, people think that, or most Kenyans, I will say, I think maybe because of our culture and how we grew up, how our parents brought us up, we think that strict measures and being harsh and being aggressive
will make people better.
Right? No, it doesn't.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, so we see cases like this ones where students are banning schools and dictating terms. And actually for that story in Milo Boys, something surprising is that even after the principal agreed to them doing the exam early on Saturday, they didn't do it. They walked out of school on Sunday. So I
feel like they should. And then there's this notion of older people. Obviously the schools are run by our parents, they are older, they're like our parents, and they feel like, mimi siwezi ambiwa na mtoto, wewe nimelea, nimekuona ukikuwa mkubwa, what are you telling me? I'm the one who knows, you don't know.
Yeah.
So their opinion is nothing.
Yeah. And then that's why we read a story here sometime back 2 weeks ago of actually an opinion piece by a student who from a high school, I think a Form 2 student, who wrote to the Daily Nation saying that if they want to fix issues of schools, rogue students, fires and all that, they should listen to the students. They should hear what they have to say, regardless of what they feel, because it's a very huge generation gap to try to impose rules on a very different generation.
Yes.
Especially right now. TikTokers are in school and kinachio mio. So
it is quite sad. It is quite sad. There's a lot going on, especially politically.
Yeah, as well.
A lot going on. What are your feelings? People are so active. I'm here wondering. Mulikuwa wapi? Hii energy ilikuwa wapi for the last 4 years? Mko busy.
Tunacheza. If you see
saizi hata ukaambia mtu mwenye anavae kwenyu akujengea kwa barabara kako hapo nje ya mlango, imagine utajengewa.
You know, let's have elections after every 3 years.
No, 2,
yeah? Because you walk around every estate right now, mabarabara zinatengenezwa.
On the road I live on, it's being built by NMS and it's inside an estate.
Oh.
Yes.
Right now because of elections.
Yes, unapita hapo unaona kibao ya NMS. And at first I was like, wait, it's inside an estate. But tunajengewa na NMS.
They want to get to you. And you know, a lot is happening. People are trying to show that they can do better than the other. Sahi after 4 years, my friend.
Let me tell you, I feel like we should be so aggressive towards asking for things right now. Tusingoje tujengewe easy bridge.
Nikasema hope ni dangerous.
We shouldn't wait for things to be done after. We shouldn't allow them to come and tell us, mkinichagua hiyo bridge, tutawajengea bridge hapo kando ya barabara, tutawajengea bridge hapo kando ya river. Let them do it now when they have I was trying to figure out this it's almost a year to elections. How much money do these people have? Enough to actually campaign for a year.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
Billions. And they've actually been campaigning for some time. Remember,
and they've been doing it for a couple of months.
BBI, and now they're campaigning for their political. They have money.
So it is possible for them to actually make changes and differences before we even elect them.
Yeah, true. Because also, after you elect them, leaders have to give back to their sponsors. So the first thing they do is they get into office, they have to pay back the people who sponsored their campaigns, or people who worked with them, people they gave promises.
At this point, this is the point I'll say that is the only problem. The way they agreed with their sponsors is the only problem. Us as Kenyans, you want my vote? Nisuke, niingize box.
Right?
Niingize box. Nijengee barabara.
Nipatie 100 kila siku hadi ni feel I'll take it. Hadi ni feel I didn't feel I really trust what you're saying. Jenga hiyo barabara, give me tap water, do something fast, and then
let me see. You see the way you ingiza your wife box as a leader. Una your effort to ingiza kama Kenyans box. Youth don't have jobs. People are munaandika watu wazee.
Imagine 75-year-olds.
Make sure that bill doesn't pass.
Right. So we are seeing that, and some of these things that are happening right now, it brings from the issue of why Kenyans are not getting vaccinated, because the leaders are not even interested. Trust me, they're just giving direct. Because as of what I'm seeing here, as of what I'm seeing all over these headlines, it's just, especially when it comes to politics,
just rallies, campaigns.
It's like leaders don't know what's happening on the ground.
Genuinely, right? We are not together with them. On Headspace, we are not together with them. They are chasing leadership as we are chasing something completely different. There's a time we had a discussion with some people, and we realized, if you look at things, you'll realize that registering as a voter, the process of registering as a voter got to Turkana before the vaccine.
Right. And you wonder how we get rallies, even rallies. Politicians were there last week in Turkana, just the one you've mentioned. But vaccination efforts, food relief efforts. Would be so nice. Kuna drought huko. You see?
Would be so nice hata kwa hizi rallies mkitafuta campaign mnasema tumekuja na vaccine. Mnaweza vaccinatiwa hapo mkikuja tuongee.
Mkikula pia pale kando.
Mkiuma kakitu hapo. Alafu hata hapo tumekuja na tanki ya maji.
Right? Hata Jesus alifeed watu kwa mountain before waongelesha other things. So kuja na food, kuja na jab those people.
Do something.
As you campaign as well.
Something tangible.
Trust me, those votes will come
something in. We can always refer to.
Those votes will definitely come in if you try and do that. So nimeuzia mmoja political strategy there. But here on the president of the country, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, and his ruling party Jubilee, and also ODM leader are working on having a coalition, a grand coalition as they call it, and they want to change rules now.
Already?
Yeah. And so in the bill that they are now proposing to Parliament, it's on the Daily Nation. It's on page 4 of the Daily Nation. So their strategy now is to allow people to defect from parties without being contravenous of the law. So it's, according to the Constitution, it's required that if you are seen in public as someone of a politician in one political party, if you're seen in public supporting another political party, or
it's against the law.
Yeah. You are seen to have resigned. You are deemed to have resigned from the party that you're currently registered in. So if you're in UDA and you're unapigia mdomo ODM, so the Constitution considered you to have resigned.
I would like to relate this in a relationship kind of situation. Angwa venye naweza kuwa na date, alafu nimeambia kila mtu I'm dating Okenye. Then tomorrow I'm seen with Ojwang on makala ya TBT.
Imagine unatumia Ojwang, unamsuka, unamtumia my emojis. So that's what Uhuru and Raila want to allow people to do. Wanataka ukue kwa relationship moja, alafu bado una flat
ile rule ya polygamy na apply mpaka hapa.
Una flat kidogo na Ojwang on Thursday. So they are allowing, or according to this bill, they want to allow any politician who wants to defect to be allowed to do so without being removed from the party that they're already in. So if I can read it, it's somewhere here on page 4. That is Jubilee and ODM's bill. So for this exemption, they want to, for a political party which enters or proposes to enter into a merger or a coalition with another, any politician who is in that kind of setup is allowed to defect. So kama uko Jubilee
alafu ni amke nasikia na feel vibe ya
unataka kusupport Raila, you want to be deregistered from Jubilee, you will still be able to support ODM leader Raila Odinga and still be in the Jubilee party. So that's what they want to do, and this is going to allow the small political parties that have been afraid of joining the Azimio la Umoja coalition to join the Azimio la Umoja coalition.
Is that not being selfish?
Yeah, it is, and politicians are. I think it's
okay,
it's a way to show.
But you didn't think that they would want to legalize their selfishness.
Right, so that bill is being put there in Parliament, and also to change the sharing of money. So 15% of the funds that are in these political parties will be shared proportionately to political parties based on the number of special interest candidates it will field in the election. So it means that if small political parties have their own interests and can field candidates, the more they do that, the more money they get, regardless of how small or how big the party is.
So it's all about the money.
So they're wooing. It's about the money. It's about their interests. About getting more people to join them to seem like a good outfit for the elections. So. And at the same time, the DP, the Deputy President, who is also in government, is complaining that the government is using state resources to block his supporters or the members of parliament who are supporting him. So I don't know, he should talk to the government.
Is he not the government?
I don't know, he knows where the offices of the government are. Maybe he should write himself a letter.
He's been in the government for the last 4 years, and what has he done for Kenyans? We have 9 years actually. Ametupatia wheelbarrow.
Yeah, so we should vote better next year. Please, yeah, all of us. That's all I can say from that.
Sometimes I feel sad to be a Kenyan, but sasa kwa sababu mimi ni Mkenya santa.
But I think we're happy to be a Kenyan, everyone should participate. So you don't
There are
have
so
to
many young people who you ask now una vote 2022. Oh, mimi nijikute nikivote.
Are you voting?
Mimi?
Yes.
Niko na voters card. That is what matters. Unajua unaweza lala kama umedecide how vote alafu amke upate peer pressure uende vote.
What if at some point the government said that if you don't vote you don't get access to government services because you didn't participate in the democratic process? Will that be also something that can give, since ulitetea pia vaccination?
Well, I'll think about it.
Right.
Let's look at the Standard. We have the story on the court orders of Kinyoti's arrest on page 3. I strongly feel that this story is a bit biased. This whole scenario. We've seen people do far much worse things, and zero action is taken upon them. Like none, absolutely none. And we are walking freely with them together in the streets of Nairobi. I don't know.
What does it say when the head of the criminal investigations, department or directorate in the country
has been
is a criminal? I don't get it. This is one of those.
Technically, I can't call him a criminal. You know why? We have criminals. Unajua 2 billion inaibiwa daily na mimi na wewe hajatufikia. We are just a criminal.
Ama ni distraction.
That's what I'm telling you. I don't know how to feel about this story. It's just
why does Wanjigi want his guns back? You know, there are so many.
And there are so many. Hata angesema pewe tu moja.
But since he has like illegally probably I don't know the details around his ownership of the guns, but since they are his and probably has a license, the High Court ordered for him to get them back. I think the man should get his guns back. I think I'll be pissed if someone took my guns,
so he should get
my guns and didn't bring them back.
But it is said that they are dangerous. Okay, all guns are dangerous. I don't know.
Why doesn't? Why, I haven't had Babu Owino's guns being taken away.
Right after he caused damage.
So I don't know. So that's why I think I'll agree with you on that one. It's quite a biased outlook or reporting everywhere on this story.
I have a question. You've seen the story of the young girl story on page 8 of the Standard,
right,
who was given 108 million by her Belgian boyfriend.
Is there a Belgian girlfriend out there who is looking for a young...
Me personally, I just want to talk to the god of 108 million. Please locate here at KU studio.
They froze her accounts though. That's
it doesn't
crazy.
make sense. Oh, and then it was being said that when the Assets Recovery Agency has been given court orders to give back the money, they told the girl to account for how she would suffer.
Sorry, what?
She didn't get the money.
Sorry, what?
Yes, I should
to
find
account
that
how
story.
she would have suffered if she didn't get the money.
Yes.
So
that she can be given the money. Yani,
so
niko na pesa yako, lakini itabidi umeniambia venye uta struggle kama sita kurudishia.
That's mad. 108 million, Bob, in Belgium, or if it was sent in US dollars, that's probably like 1 million. Like just a KM. I just dropped a KM in my girlfriend's account. So
a KM?
Mona muna trip.
Uko na girlfriend? Si drop a KM in your account.
Yes, like so, but however, the government or they are saying that is the ARA lawyer, so that the Assets Recovery Agency, so through their lawyer, they're saying that they are suspected to be a syndicate of money laundering. So they're involved.
But they don't have evidence.
So guess you are not proven guilty until rich. Sometimes when you're rich, you're still
guilty until proven rich, and she's rich. Sasa siwampatie tu pesa yake nile na maisha.
So probably
the girl was just chilling.
But it was frozen. It was frozen by the court, so they have to wait for that due process as well to happen.
I was wondering, is there a law that says if my account right now has 100 shillings, and then the god of 108 million locates me tomorrow morning, and I wake up with 108 million and 100 shillings in my account, I'll be arrested for what?
Oh, for just having money.
Because that's the same story with her.
Yeah, right?
That's what happened to her.
She also has another account with 5 million.
Oh, hello, Kwanini.
Yeah, so she has another account with 5 million and that other one with 102 million. So she's mulad. She's a rich auntie. And she said she's abroad. She won't be available. I don't know whether she's back, but she said she's not available to answer questions because she was studying abroad and she studies here. Anasoma hapa Nairobi Institute, but akisomea exams she goes abroad.
Oh, anaenda kusomea exam.
Kwa boyfriend, Right, so that's happening.
Kuna watu wanaishi alafu kuna
but if it's I feel, but the law requires that such kind of transactions be investigated, so I think it's in,
like I said earlier, tunaibiwa. Unajua tuliambiwa hapa tunaibiwa 2 billion daily. Unajua venye 2 billion pesa mingi wewe
sana, na tunakimbiza watu wako na 100 million transaction cost.
Tunakimbiza transaction cost, pesa kidogo.
Yeah, so
we have misplaced priorities as a country, very misplaced.
Yeah.
On page 14, evaluate 2022 promises against local and global commitments.
Vision 2030 is near.
It's about 8 years now. 7-8 years, yeah? 7. Tuseme tu 2023 imefika. Tumebakisha siku kama 15 2021 ishe. So tumebakisha miaka 8. Ama tu count 2022. Tuongeze tu.
Yeah, tuongeze.
One wako na time.
So we have like 7-8 years to go to 2030. What have you seen that you feel is on the way to be achieved?
Mimi isipokuwa hiyo barabara mpya yenye tuliamua tutakuwa tunalipia na tumejenga na taxes.
Expressway.
Isipokuwa hiyo. And the fact that Kenya has pathetic drainage.
Ooh. Wow.
Have you seen the drainage in Nairobi?
Go for them.
Have you seen the drainage system in Nairobi?
I have.
Kunaonyesha tu kidogo hivi gari zetu zinakuwa boat.
Yeah. Ndio maana uliulizwa time ya census if you own one.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
They were preparing.
Hata siku kwa ninakumbuka niliulizwa hapo, do you have a canoe?
Sindio, like you know what's coming.
You do know what's coming. Kidogo yes. Nairobi city inakuwa Lake Nairobi.
No, and is
kidogo.
So but the cities also as Jamalizwa, so I don't know, there are Tatu cities, Konza City, hizo vitu zote they're supposed to be 2030 projects. As Jamalizwa, I don't think they're even halfway through or quarter way.
Sasa kwa sababu president wetu ilikuwa the big 4 agenda. Na sasa hata imeisha kabla hajamaliza ama ata work nini nitangwaje this excess hours you work overtime. Does it look like he'll work overtime? I'm just asking. If you know that, you could tell us on social media. It's our president sleeping.
But it seems
those who know people ama ana work to overtime.
You can ask.
He's underworked for so many years. Alafu sazile anana kumaliza ndo anaona guy wa. It's next year. You guys, it's next year.
Na hiyo ndo exactly. That's exactly what we'll do before the 2030 vision. Tutafika hapo 2029.
Kidogo wamefunga barabara zote.
Kwanza city pigwe flats. Alafu sema tumemaliza.
This is exhausting.
But we've tried. Yeah, we've tried.
We'll see.
Mgala muwe na haki umpe. We've tried. We've done some good work, especially in the section of renewable energy. Kenya is making strides. I'll give Kenya that one. Clean energy solutions are very good for us, and infrastructure, not for this, not for the expressway, but for inner roads. I think even the devolution, things that have come out of devolution, there are a few things that have come out of devolution. Access to government services has become closer to mwananchi. There's huduma centers. There is more access to government leaders than it was before because of that access to the MCA, MP. And that's why I say that if you're going to vote, if you don't want to vote for your MCA and for your MP, at the very least. Hizo zingine za kwenda juu, you can say like this dirty politics if you don't want to be involved in dirty politics. But uko chini, especially where I come from, in my home village, the places where they have this very personal touch to the MCA, to the MP, has changed lives. People have gone to school, people have gone scholarships. Nice. Students actually have where I come from, students who want to join Form 1 for quite some time have not had a problem
with getting bursaries.
With getting bursaries, with getting shopping to go to school. So I think local leadership that uko chini tumejaribu.
I think it's fair to say, let's not put all leaders in one basket.
Right.
Because that's where you come from. Where I come from is a totally different story. Where I come from, you have to pay 2,000 shillings to get services from the MCA. So I'm coming to look for bursary, but you expect me to look for 2,000. Hata sina chakula.
Sisi MCA anakuja hadi kwako. Yeah, then you should know that you can get better, right?
So if you're kwa president.
And that's where we go wrong.
Anaweza tusaidia because
akikuja kujua watu watamtusi and bring other.
So I think we can say we can't put all leaders in one basket. There are the leaders that are actually doing different. They're making a difference from where they come from.
Mwachane wale wanao promise F1 trucks and they never deliver anything at the end of it.
Yeah. It actually makes sense.
Yeah, right. So
sadly, we've come to the end of this newspaper review. Akita imagine. We've come to the end, but go get your newspapers. We will be coming right back after a short break. Also, do join us on our social media platforms. Send in your feedback, send in your responses at KUTV Kenya on Facebook, at KUTV Kenya on Instagram, and at KUTV Kenya on Twitter. I'll be coming back with some feedback and some more interesting news. Welcome back. I am still with the amazing Richard Okenye on my set. Imagine I'm hosting the host. Imagine. So, hey, I'll read feedback from Jelly Kamau. And the governor, course MCAs depend on devolved county funds. I've not quite understood that. And the governor causes MCAs depend on devolved county funds.
Right, I think saying that.
About voting.
Yeah, saying
make
that.
Good choices.
Yeah.
Vote also for the governor. Yes, makes sense. It's making
those ones
sense.
Are, they
Yes.
work with devolved funds.
Yes. Make good choices. I think we are wiser now with all the stuff. Akitu may suffer for the last few years. Make good choices. Remember everything you've been through for the past 9 years before you make a decision as a Kenyan. Sikubali kufungwa macho last minute. Please. We are done.
We are.
Welcome to my show.
Thank you for having me here on
my guest
Women Crush Wednesday.
How are you feeling? You're
feeling
representing
good.
Men today.
Right?
It's not really a woman's show, but
Now represent, now rep.
yes, represent. It's a gender-based show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
How are you feeling this morning?
Feeling great. Bit cold, but I'm in good spirit.
Hujakunywa chai?
Imagine bado.
Director, tafadhali letea guest wangu chai. Please.
Yeah, with 2 spoons of sugar.
Amesema a cup of warm tea, cocoa ama Milo.
Milo,
ile
yo Milo second.
with 2 spoons of sugar, please and thanks. Tell us, how has your year been?
It's been quite an eventful year. Very challenging in very many ways, but also very great opportunity to learn. I don't know whether you asked generally or at work, but
Generally. Wewe ulikuwa na year's resolutions?
Man.
Hebu tuambie umeachieve ngapi?
I said I'll go to the gym.
Have you gone to the gym?
Cumulatively I've gone for 20 days out of all the year.
No progress is small. Umejaribu. At least umejaribu. 1,000 miles starts with 1 step, lakini inaonekana kabla ufike huko kwa 1 mile utakaa.
Yeah, but nimejaribu. So I had that one. Other few resolutions, I said that I'd read I don't know how many books by the end of the year.
You've read how many?
I think 5.
No, that's good. That's a good number.
I said I wanted to have one per at least, I guess.
1 per month.
Yeah.
Technically, with life gets busy, life goes on.
Yeah, life has a life of its own.
Exactly. So 5 out of 12 is good.
If that is what you tell your child, if I worry for them.
No, really. My child is not an adult.
5 out of 12.
And it's below average, yes, but tumekaribia. Considering life and its happenings, not just yet ulikuwa tu umekaa kwa nyumba. You've had life happening. Yeah,
na niliambiwa sometimes we become too hard on ourselves. So maybe
exactly. Alafu ananiambia hapa unani judge.
Did you have New Year's resolutions?
For this year, not many. They were not as many. I can say I've been able to achieve most of my year's resolutions towards the end of the year.
Wewe ni kama government.
Mimi ni kama government
Just rush.
last minute, but it's mostly because everyone knows I'm a mom, so I was taking a day at a time. And I hadn't gotten back to work. So it was my intention to really get back to work before the end of the year, which I have. I think that was my main resolution for the year.
Inspirational.
I was to also work out. And then...
How did that work out?
We can say that it's now a 2022 resolution, yes?
Yeah, next year is our year.
It's my year. It's definitely our year.
Kweli.
What else has happened in through your year? What was the biggest highlight of the year?
My biggest highlight always, it's hosting my show on Tuesday morning. Surprisingly, Mondays are difficult because of Tuesday. but Tuesdays are easy because of Tuesday. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense. For me, Tuesdays are difficult because of Wednesday, but come Wednesday, everything just works.
Yeah, so Mondays, please. Wow, I wish we had like 2 Sundays and then a Tuesday.
You need a weekend to recover from the previous weekend.
But then Karen will be out of job, so. But yeah, Tuesday has been my highlight. But the highlightest of my highlights, I don't know. Maybe I'll get tired of this by the end of the year, but I had a conversation with Nasty C. Yeah.
I saw that on your Instagram. No, I do not stalk. I just saw.
Oh yeah.
I just saw.
Yeah, you were just looking at the profile.
Yeah, no. You get it? Don't get it?
Forget about
it.
Yeah, so that was also courtesy of my work here, which was a good thing as well. So hosting my show on Tuesday, getting to interact with guests who are very insightful and who are phenomenal. Like Nasty,
for example,
and Rolene. For
example,
I had other guests as well also support from my team as well. That was a highlight of my show, making it really easy. My newspaper review, if I may mention, I don't know if I'll mention.
Please do.
I think there was one so many insights on how to do this. For real. Yeah, so like I was here on set with people like Jesse Kimotho, Ngoiri Migwi, very insightful political scientists. People will change the future for sure. You can place your bet on that. So they gave me great insights and they helped me make the show even lovelier for the audience, which is my biggest goal really, to ensure that people who are watching me have a reason to watch every single Tuesday. Siati 2022 yule boy lebo wake UTV na suti. But yeah, so I think the highlight is just the work. I think I find satisfaction in the success of effort. So yeah, that was a good thing for me.
Aside from Nasty C and all your guests, which is that one show you'll never forget?
There's this one show that had dogs.
What? Thank you for not giving me that show because, gosh, what?
Yeah, there's this crazy show.
Let's start from the beginning. Do you love animals? Are you a pet person?
No.
Yeah. Please high five.
Yeah.
Please.
Finally.
Do you believe animals should stay in the forest?
Yeah, please. Yeah. That's what they're called, animals.
Thank you.
I don't know why you'll take animals from their families and then
bring them to your family
and then say you love them. But okay, I'm not saying people shouldn't love pets.
No, to each their own.
To each their own.
To each their own.
Right, and that's my own.
And also that's our own. This is our own.
No.
Because I don't see how I will wake up with fur next to me if it's not a fur pillow or a fur coat. I can't.
Our pets are very difficult. Also, taking care of a pet it's like taking care of a child. Yeah, so you have to fully
give it your attention.
For
me, I wouldn't say that it's the taking care part of it that's a problem. It's just the fact that it's an animal.
For me, it's because it doesn't give me anything back.
Yeah, and that.
Right?
And that.
I'm feeding you so that you can.
And then your dog gets sick, and then you take it to the vet and pay some 5,000 shillings, and then it dies. Please,
don't cancel me if you're a pet
also
lover.
Don't cancel me, but to each their own.
Yeah.
To each their own.
Yeah. So that's it. So we had that show.
How was it for you?
It was exciting.
It was exciting.
So they brought these very fierce dogs. We went outside. We were shooting on the hallway.
The big dog.
Yeah, it was a German Shepherd, if I remember.
Mimi ninge faint. Genuinely speaking.
You're afraid of pets.
Badly.
I'm not afraid of pets. I actually tolerate pets. I think that's where tunachana.
I think up on the
I tolerate pets. I'm okay with the presence. Yeah.
I am not okay with the presence.
Cats jumping on me, dogs moving. It's okay. It's all okay. Actually, I am okay with the company of pets.
Mine is so bad that even as I'm walking around home and I come across tunapitana na mtu ameshika mbwa zake, I genuinely cross the road. Siko bad, but I will cross the road.
I treat pets like how I treat kids. Lovely. But take them back after you're done.
You look cute. You look cute, but stay away from me, please. So, I don't hate dogs.
But I like that.
I also don't love them. And ironically, my daughter loves animals.
So will you get them for her? You'll eventually turn to, you know.
The thought of it, of me having an kama itaka huko nje ni sawa, but you see how you live with a pet in the house.
Can't work.
This is my ability to cannot.
But also, I think the other thing that was different with that interview, it was not just about pets. It wasn't about getting yourself a dog. It was business also, because it's a business show. It was a business of pets.
Selling pets.
And no, I don't know whether I can call it a pet. Business of selling dogs.
Selling dogs.
Yeah, dog training and security dogs, and even for companionship. And it's expensive. People are making money out of selling animals.
Good for them. Good for them.
Yeah, so people get animals give birth to other animals, and they sell these animals for money.
For free.
For a lot of money. Yeah, so you should consider that business.
Yeah.
If you don't like them, you can sell them. Right? But it was interesting because of the theatrics as well.
It was good. The theatrics part of it I understand, but it will be hard for you to change my mind.
Yeah, so that was the show I can't forget.
Mm-hmm. This far, would you say that the way you stepped into 2021 is how you are now?
Whoa, I would never have imagined. The kind of growth that I got out of this year wasn't the growth that I had actually expected. Mm-hmm. Also because I think you can't plan out life.
Yeah.
Even with work. I don't know. Mbona nashinda nikigravitate back to work? Am I supposed to answer work?
Maybe you are a workaholic, but you can tell us.
Also because my growth comes out of work currently. So, Biashara Tuesday is just a child that just keeps...
It's your firstborn baby.
Yeah, I love that kid. So, and it keeps giving. It's a gift. I've gotten the chance to host events out there because of Biashara Tuesday and guests we had here. I've gotten a chance to work also with other brands that have come here and have gone there as well to even shoot in location. The kind of growth that I needed to see work happening, especially if it's business, to go and see business where it's at, to see young people innovating, coming on set, having this, also like people who are my age are challenging me. Sometimes sitting here and you have a guest who's done something tremendous.
I know.
People never get to see what you think.
It's actually so intimidating sometimes.
True. And also inspiring.
At the same time.
Yeah, so you get to sit across someone who thinks differently. And that is also growth for me. So, I
get to understand every aspect of how different people reason, how different people think.
And sometimes I treat the work as therapy, a therapy session.
I actually agree. Last week I came to work unwell, very, very unwell. By the time I was leaving this place, I was okay.
Right?
It's therapeutic, very therapeutic.
You get to release that energy, your adrenaline. Mwage hapa, hiyo nguvu yote ulete hapa.
Unaileta yote hapa.
Yeah, so that kind of growth was very important for me, and I think I've changed also how I view life from my interactions with. Yeah, because I've gotten to interact even with people at work. And I've learned positively and negatively as well.
Learned how to live with different kinds of people.
Yeah, different kinds of people. So it's important. I think people should get out there more. So I think that's something that I have come to learn. Usikae kwa nyumba sana pia. You get to just think about only the things that you think about.
That are around you.
Yeah, you don't get to think what you think. You're just trapped in your thoughts. So getting out there and work allowed me to do that, and that was very lovely. I think that kind of growth is what I'd say was very important for me in 2021.
You once interviewed the Secretary General of UNESCO. Speaking of intimidating people, how was that for you?
My goodness, this man, am I speaking about the man or the interview? But let's just this man,
the regional director, sorry.
There is power, and then there's
titles that just
there's aura, I think, right? No, your kitu, that's what you see once you see them. Like,
kwanza unaambiwa you're going to be interviewing so and so, and then in your head you just have this buffed person in your head. he has a big title. Yani
yeah, and then
I don't want to say ni mbaba, but
alikuwa mbaba by the way.
Ni mbaba, alafu mbaba ameachieve.
This guy has a resume that spans across the continent. He's worked in Asia, he's worked in Europe, he's worked in the US, he's worked in Kenya, he's the head of UNESCO. But what I wanted to highlight is not the titles. It's I think his presence ilikuwa, it's a force. Like everything he says.
That's what I'm actually doing. It's
right? And then everything he says is just is correct. Like
wezi argue?
Wezi kataa.
No, wezi kataa.
Atakwambia we are planning to do this, like yeah, that sounds like a legit plan. It sounds like you know what you're saying, yeah. So it was a good thing. The interview happened at Sarova. If you know we go to many of these things, you can't keep track.
There are too many.
Yeah,
too many achievements.
Yeah, we were there. Very insightful. How also he keeps his time, right? So he said we'd be there at around, I remember it was, I think 10, and he was there. Like he was there before coming time. He was there in another meeting, and then done with that meeting was there on time for the interview. And then kept time. It's like, are we doing the interview for 15 or 20 minutes? 20. Do the interview for 20 minutes. Once it's done, I have my schedule. I have to go and see someone else in the next 5 minutes. He has these things organized, well planned out. And I think that was also, I don't know why I keep going back to inspiring, but
no, it's actually very inspiring because they also look towards the people we interview, and you look at that person and you're like, one day I want to be like you. Right. I want to be here one day.
I never think that guests can also give you a self-reflection like
they
that.
Do. For me, they do. You look at someone, your life is well put together, you have everything going on for yourself, and you're like, when I'm 40, if you are 40, I want to be where you are, if not further than where you are.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a good chance to interact with such kind of people, to see how they work. Let's call them
powerful people.
Yeah. So not just for the power, but also to see.
They help. They intimidate you. They give you that push to be a better person.
To know that there's better.
That's
right. To also know that there's better. It's quick comfort zone forever.
There's more than what you are doing right now.
Yeah. So that was a good interview. Yeah.
For me, my highlight is today's show and last week's show. Last week's show, I interviewed a certain lady who was talking to us about human trafficking. It's actually been my highlight because I'm still shocked to now.
Human trafficking in Kenya?
Yes. Did you know that even hiring a nanny from a nanny out of, like, nona venye it's kawaida in Nairobi, you need a nanny, then unapigia watu uko Western unawambia mimi nilikuwa nataka mnaweza mtumanishia msichana, unatumanishiwa dem. Do you know that's human trafficking?
Oh.
I know.
Well, now that I think about it, it does sound like human trafficking. That's crazy.
And then the fact that when you hire a nanny and you don't pay them well, it's also human trafficking.
And slavery.
Exactly.
And slavery.
Did you know? I have so many did you know. Did you know?
Now I know. I should answer after every statement. Now I know.
Did you know that that hiring someone akuje kwako akwambia kwa miaka 17 hiyo ni human trafficking?
Yeah, child labor and
Did you know that early marriages is human trafficking?
I didn't know human trafficking is this broad.
It's so broad.
So human trafficking is the abuse of human beings.
If you put it that way, yes.
In labor.
Did you know that those people you come across kwa street wakiwa kama beggars, most of them are not beggars. They are paid actors.
True. You see now that you were there, I was once in a matatu. And I'm sorry, but that happened. This guy comes in. I had seen him, earlier on the bridge. Na hakuwa anaweza kutembea, ameka slippers hapa hivi. And then he gets next, the matatu in the front seat. He just stands and gets in the mat.
I would genuinely run.
Just stands. Run. No one was shocked. That's why I was like, Nairobi wewe.
Nairobi wewe.
Because no one reacted.
You're the only one who reacted.
I was like, are you guys seeing a miracle or what?
You've become a miracle worker.
Yeah, so I think that I think I know. Yeah, human trafficking. In that,
I was genuinely so shocked.
It happens.
And surprised. What else? Tell me, what are your resolutions for 2022?
Whoa.
Going to the gym.
Oh.
Number 1. Ama uko sawa.
Unataka nichukue retake ya gym.
Guys. Pia tusifozi.
I have decided not to make a New Year resolution for 2022. New Year resolutions. There's only one resolution I have made. It's going to sound philosophical, but I have decided just to become better. That's it.
It actually makes a lot of sense.
So every day, if I don't feel like I'm better than yesterday, I think I realized writing down a list has become very
monotonous.
Yeah, and very cliche. And go back to I think it's better if I write down a to-do list every single day.
Yeah, call it a to-do list and not.
Right, every single day. Yeah. I write a to-do list for every single day that will make me better every single day of the new year up to the end. Imagine if you could get better every day, just a small bit. That will be.
It only takes one step.
Right, you'd hit all the resolutions without even thinking about it.
True.
So I think that's the long cut.
What inspired you?
What inspired me? Failing to have hit the resolutions this year.
I normally write my resolutions and put them in my Bible. Would it? Yes,
Does
in
it
my
mean
Bible.
You don't read your Bible?
No, I read my Bible. But will it be weird if I said my paper that I wrote in 2021 dropped yesterday? Like.
Whoa! Like, which verse is that you've never looked at?
Ilikuwa nyuma. Ilikuwa nyuma ya Bible. And then I opened my Bible and it fell.
So you wanted to read it at the end of time.
So I realized haya nilitengeneza nikarusha tu. Nikaweka storage. That's. Am I proud of myself? A bit because I've achieved, but I'm not proud of myself for the fact that I've never looked back to look for my 2021 resolutions.
Okay. Am I allowed to ask you a question?
Please do.
What is your highlight of the year?
My highlight of the year, there are 2. Like I said, I'm a mother. So my first highlight would be the growth of my child and the far that she has come. It's really amazing to see a little human grow. So the more they are growing, the more...
It's like a heartbeat outside your body.
Exactly. It's so nice to see them her grow at them. To see her grow. That's been... My daughter has been my highlight of the year. And now getting my job back.
Right.
This has been it for me. It's been the icing on the cake. Like I said, it was really my intention to get back to work after being a mother. So being able to get back on my feet has been my highlight.
What do you want to change with the next year?
Next year, I want to be bigger and better. Just that. Bigger and better. In all aspects of life. Motherhood, relationship, work, spirituality, everything. Bigger and better. So we can say it's the same as you.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, because I don't want to collect my paper in December 2022. Let's just say bigger and better.
True. Nice. That sounds lovely. Sounds like something also I'm doing. So
we can say
to keep in check. Tapatana half year tulizana kama
umefika wapi? Unaendelea aje? It'll be nice. We'll still be here. Hopefully we'll be in bigger places. So you never know. Unajua tunaweza kuwa tuna rub shoulders huko mbele.
Kweli. Usinisahau.
Hata wewe usinisahau.
Yeah, right.
Kinisound nitafanya hiyo ikuwe replayed. Nikukumbushe uliniwacha.
Mwambie watu ndio huyo tunaona.
Imagine namjua. I know him. So thank you for coming to my show.
Thank you for having me here.
You can wish the audience Merry Christmas. Unaimbanga?
I can try.
So unaweza tuimba Merry Christmas ni next week.
Uko na how much? Nikupe red card.
Tunaweza ongea hapo ni 10.
I don't do free gigs.
PKE artist.
Exposure tatu.
Unalipanga bills na I pay rent with 2 exposures and 1 show.
But Merry Christmas. to all the Christians out there who are celebrating this festive season. Happy New Year to every human being.
I'm lost at Merry Christmas to all the Christians.
See, Christmas is a Christian occasion, right?
Have you seen Christians celebrate Eid?
Lakini Christians tunapenda kukula. Celebrations, yeah. God gave us the earth to enjoy.
True.
No matter, we also invite everyone else to Christmas. You see, but yes, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, be better, but also invite me, please.
Where the food is.
Yeah, please, so that if I'm going to the gym next year,
you have something to work on.
You have something to lose. You know, a man who has something to lose. Not just a man who's going back. Wow. But yes, yeah. Thank you very much for having me here. And for your fans, make sure they watch Biashara Tuesday. #Biashara Tuesday. Niko hapa kujiuza, ni sawa?
Please do. Hey, jiuze kabisa.
Hii
maisha ni kujituma. Kwa biashara.
Right, so Biashara Tuesday comes to you every Tuesday morning on KUTV Rise Today. I'm the host at Richard_Okenye. That's where my social media is at on the internet. Every single platform. Facebook, Instagram, except TikTok and Snapchat.
You're not on TikTok and Snapchat?
Hapana.
Niko tempted kukuuliza why?
Yeah, Snapchat niliambiwa watu wanafanya mambo huko.
Ama ni toxic masculinity, you don't do these things. Seems a fool.
Hey, you want me to be crucified on the timeline today na nishapeana handle yangu.
No, at least itakupa. Unajua no publicity is bad publicity, tutakuwa tumekupea traffic.
Yeah. I have a reputation to protect, to uphold. Right, so make sure you watch my business show every Tuesday next year as well, even from next week as well, every Tuesday morning, 7 to 10 a.m. And also watch the rest of the shows on Rise Today, and we'll have a good time.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for allowing the host to host you. The host to host the guy.
Yeah. The host to host the host.
Where? Water. The host to host the Nakata. Imekata. We're going on a break, but before we go on a break, I'd like to read Karen Blessing is excited to be here. Karen Blessing will be coming with Emperor Sheka. After the break, they'll be here to also give us their highlights, tell us how their year was. We also have Miriam Njuki, where are you? Anakuja, relax. Kuna haraka, kwani tunaenda? We also have Elvis Mark. Brilliant interview. I loved it. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for joining us in the show. Aki, thanks. Tutakuja next time.
You can invite. Na mnieke chai. You know, in my show, we do things differently.
So you are trying to say...
Wow. I'm going to try, but it's okay.
We are going on a break. I need to cry. We will be back.